said you had a topic that you wanted to talk about? You had something specific?
Yeah. So first of all, before we get to the topic, I want to talk about this something that weighed on my mind this week that I was thinking about, and it's something that I wanted to address with you. But do you think, as a community, black people, what I'm speaking of, are we too forgiving for everything that's happened? Not to say that everything is someone else's fault, but there is a lot of stuff that we are I think we're too forgiving on in regards to society.
I don't know if it's forgiving or forgetfulness, but that's kind of like a deep cave to dive into, because when you start talking about being forgiving, if somebody don't really know about a certain experience in a certain light, if they haven't heard about it in a certain light or read about it in a certain light, they can't really forgive somebody for it because they really haven't experienced that experience. So it's nothing for the person to apologize to them for, because they themselves feel like they didn't experience anything. So it's almost like a case of being forgetful, because they made them forget about an experience. The fact that we know about the experience and we're bringing it up, it's like, yo, we can't just forget that this happened. It's because we are aware of that experience now.
The reason why I say forgiving is because in the last video, which is something I did not know, the last episode we watched about Black Wall Street, and one of the things in that video, if you listen back to it, it said that after Black Wall Street, they had 300 dead and 6,000 internment camps. So the reason why I say, are we too forgiving? Because under President Obama, you know, Asian Americans during, I think it was World War II, that got put in internment camps, they received reparations for that. So even though it's on a smaller scale, 6,000 people after Black Wall Street, which is just messed up in itself. Notice how they kind of sweep that under the rug, but yet Asian Americans that were put into internment camps, their families and their descendants receive compensation for that wrong that was done to them. Yeah. So that's my problem with us when I say, are we too forgiving, to the point where?
Well, I think the bigger problem with that is what we talked about last time, the militancy. The fact that there's no military behind us, the fact that they can pretty much do whatever they want to do to us and they don't really have to answer to anybody. We're not organized enough to be like, yeah, we're not going to let you just do this to us. So we're in that type of a situation because we're powerless. The Asians aren't powerless. It's like, okay, well, the war is over, send us our people back, but you do have to account for the fact that you locked us in jails.
Nah, but that's not even it. What I'm talking about is this. When I say they intern Asian Americans in internment camps, these weren't prisoners of war. These were Asian Americans who I want to say, believe could be a threat to the United States during World War II. These were not people that they went over there when they were fighting World War II and they snatched them up and put. These are people that lived, worked in America, that they just said, oh, y'all could be a threat to us. We don't know who you are. We're going to throw you in these camps just to make sure that y'all don't pose a threat to us while we're at war with these other Asian countries at the moment. So what I'm saying is, it wasn't no shipping back. These were American citizens they did this to. So what I'm saying is the same thing that goes with Black Wall Street. First of all, the whole mind frame and the whole craziness that surrounded Black Wall Street was just pure jealousy and hatred. That's the best way, you could put it, that you would go and see a thriving community and want to blow it up and kill it.
But they put Asians in the internment camps, locked them in jails or whatever they did with them, because they were at war. They was receiving a threat from like a different country that they was having a warlike issue with. So I mean, they probably definitely considered Black Wall Street a war from their standpoint. They're gonna label it as a war. That's an issue that we have already. The way that they label things, they label certain things in their favor, and then certain, you know what I'm saying. So it's just the label that they put on it. I can't. It's still just an issue of forgetfulness. I mean, you can probably, we know about Black Wall Street, but maybe a couple of generations of people older than us might know about Black Wall Street, but that's not something that we teach our kids on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, so let me get into one of the points that I wanted to make today. It's absolutely insane to me that if you think about it, think about the terms. I'm gonna tell you where this comes from. A week or so ago, I was, on HBO or whatever, and I watched the movie Loving. I don't know if you know about the movie Loving. It's about the woman. It was in Virginia. It was a black woman and a white man that fell in love, and they got married. They went to Washington D.C. and got married, and they came back to Virginia, and the court system back then found out they were married and told them that they couldn't live in Virginia married together because it was against the law. They didn't recognize the marriage from Washington D.C.
Yeah.
Okay. The point of it is this. This is the point I make about it's crazy that movie. If you look at Hidden Figures, you look at The Help, you look at a lot of these different movies that depict black people that succeeded. The point I want to make to that is this. It's good to portray those images in the media and for people to see these stories and hear these stories, but you realize they're still, even through all that, these movies are being put out through through black film companies. They're getting put out through white film companies. So now, like Hidden Figures made a lot of money. So now, whatever they went through or whatever discrimination they went through to get where they at, it happened for real. They got where they had to go. Now, the same people that discriminated make a movie about the discrimination and make millions of dollars off of the movie they made about the discrimination that they did.
Yeah.
They're still profiting off of our pain.
Yeah, because we don't own any kind of...
That's crazy to me, bro. We have to change that. That is crazy to me. Yeah. I just thought about today, the movie Loving. I don't care how much money you made on it. At the end of the day, you're profiting off of something that
you do know that they're not gonna tell these stories. Once they pass through those hands, they're not gonna allow those stories to be told in a way that's gonna really
depict the true racism. Exactly. It's watered down.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the whole system is watered down, and the whole movie or the whole true story of what happened gets watered down to the point where it could be a feel-good. Racism and all this stuff isn't a feel-good story.
Yeah.
There's nothing. You think about it, even me watching these movies.
That's crazy, bro.
We watch these movies and look at stuff, and it ends up being it's a feel-good story. Only some stuff you just can't sugarcoat. Like the Nat Turner story, Birth of a Nation. It's nothing that felt good about that. It's nothing that felt good about 12 Years a Slave. Oh yeah, he got back with his family.
Well, I might be a little bit of an extremist, but it kind of feel good sometimes to see the black man win. It take a couple of them out, bro. So Nat Turner story.
We did.
Good in that sense.
He did win in the sense, but at the same time, he lost his life fighting for his freedom, and that's the thing, that fighting for his freedom and believe in saying that, listen, y'all not finna keep doing this to us. Yeah. And I think what you say as far as the militant aspect and our military, our self-preservation, we don't have that. That's why I say a lot of people talk about war and all these race. I think race war is more of a white term because that's what they want it to be. Yeah. I said we're not fighting about race.
Bro, you know that if you study war, that a lot of times they have to have like the sergeants, like the leaders, the people that train the army, they have to be behind the people, the infantry, and kind of force them to go out there and fight, because people don't want to go out there and fight, bro. So they can't make war stories.
Cause it's not, see, listen, what does it say? The first rule of life is self-preservation.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna, if I see.
Especially not for some stuff that you have anything to win from.
It's nothing to
Most
win.
wars, if you look at it, especially for black people, because if you study the history of war, most of the time when black people came back from these wars, they still face discrimination
and all that,
lynchings and all that other kind of stuff. So it's like really, I don't understand it, bro. And actually, if you study, I think it was like the Vietnam War, or maybe it was World War II, but black people sued to actually go and fight in the war though. So that's the craziest thing. It's like it's like we always looking for the acceptance, bro. That's the one thing that I really think that we have to change, because even once we talk about racism, the way that it affects us, it's almost anytime that we talk about it from a standpoint of they have to recognize, they have to understand, it's like we still looking for their acceptance. We have to have just a system in place where it's like, look, I'm indifferent. I mean, I don't want to see anything bad happen to you.
But see, at the same time, what did we talk about a while ago though? We talked about that all comes from context. Acceptance in what? We talked about a while ago is that we don't have our history in context. We don't have we don't have the history as far as black people, where we've really come from, what we really stood for, what we have been to history. We don't have that in the context. So when you say their acceptance, I think we're taking acceptance into the fact that we're being accepted into a system that we were not ever meant to be included into. So just like,
yeah, so you have to, at that point, you have to kind of create your own system. You can't expect for the people that put you under a system that they didn't create for you in the first place to be like, yeah, we're going to give you enough information to create your own system where you could possibly beat us.
yeah,
That's why I'm saying that at this stage of life, I'm not saying for the whole time that racism existed, that racism is a logical thing, but as it stands right now, for the situation that we in, you have to kind of be a racist. We was brought into a system up under racist conditions. The only way that we're going to be able to get out of the situation is if we recognize that's the situation that we in and play by those rules. Then now once we build our own system, we can be like, yeah, we're not going to treat people differently the way that y'all treated us differently. We can always have our own rules like that, but we still have to just take the information that's provided to us. There are a bunch of books that kind of talk about history. You could just read history books in general. It don't have to be specifically African history. It could be European history. It can be just American history. As long as you take it from the context of who was this written for and what purpose it was written for and what can I gain from it, then you can read it in a sense of like, okay, well, this was George Washington writing it for the next generation of white people to come along and to have instructions of how to run this nation. So now you can look at those instructions and kind of get a baseline of, okay, these are the things that we have to change to kind of combat this. But if you just don't read it at all and just say, okay, well, that's their thing, then of course you're not going to have the right kind of information in there.
but I think the message about this, what we call the struggle, gets misconstrued and all that. I'm gonna tell you, and this is my point about that. The reason why I say the message gets misconstrued is because black people see it always turns into, if you listen to arguments. I remember one time I was watching C-SPAN early one morning, and this guy called in, and this dude literally said, "Oh, why should we ever have to pay reparations to black people? We give them welfare and food stamps. I think we've paid enough." Bro, I'm not even going into that, but what I'm saying is this. Black people have never asked for anything free. Yeah. We've never asked y'all to give us anything. Wait. Let me finish.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that it's to the point where they don't even want. See, the thing about it, like I said last week, is about how you progress in life. They don't even want the tables to be fair. That's the point. I'm not asking you. I'm not asking anybody to give us anything.
Yeah.
Don't give us anything. What I'm saying is, let me progress naturally, without the hindrance and the stumbling blocks and everything else y'all put in front of us to make it. Y'all, they say, oh, well, they don't do this, and they don't work as hard as us, or we don't do this, and no, y'all play. Think about it. For point case, going back to the little rape thing, the little dude that raped the chick behind the dumpster and got probation. Now he can come out. He can come from that and go somewhere and probably somebody, his parents know somebody, he probably still get a job. But a black man that's a felon, y'all want to keep him, you want to put him on probation for a whole bunch of years. You want to do, say, oh, any interaction with the police, that's a violation of probation. And we're going back to the same communities where we don't even go out to run into the police, they run into us. So it's a continual cycle of, like they say, a cycle of incarceration until they sit you in.
They go hunting.
Exactly.
But even still, bro, it still definitely goes back to the point of it's a race. That's what they believe in. They're race first. I'm not gonna put my own kids in jail. I'm gonna put the other people's kids in jail. I'm gonna go out and say, yeah, you're supposed to act this way, and when I catch one of y'all not acting the way that you're supposed to act, I'm gonna put you in jail. I'm not gonna go out and find my own kids and put my own kids in jail for doing the same thing.
That's true. But that's why another thing we can talk about. That's why I know it doesn't sound militant, but I honestly truly believe, like with the police force is one place in America where I feel like it needs to be absolutely segregated. I feel like this. You can't have a cop coming from Coral Springs to work in Riviera Beach, because you can't relate to what this neighborhood is going through. You can't have a cop that lives on South Beach coming to patrol Overtown. You can't have a policeman that, that lives way out of West and coming to Lauderdale and Parkway. You can't have none of that.
But you know where that comes from, though? That's more so on the people that vote. Because the whole purpose of voting means you pick out a politician that look at stuff like that and fix those things.
That's true too.
So if you put a politician in the city of Riviera Beach and he let 75% of the police station become non-black people and the city is 95% black people, then that means the people that voted picked the wrong politician.
True.
So that still goes back to, bro.
But that's still playing the rules by their system, though. Because just like the whole voting thing, like, think about it. We voted. I know I did. Well, I did. I know we voted.
Yeah, but that shows that you can win in their system if you put race first. So if you put somebody in there that says, look, not only am I going to hire a majority black policeman because that gives black people a job from a city, so that's more jobs that we have, that's more income that we have coming in where people can actually pay their bills. That's just like a regular person that's thinking, okay, and this person is from the area, he have a certain kind of a relationship with the people in the area, so he holds, it's
so dear to him.
So that's just people picking the wrong politician. So
I don't think it's that too, because I don't think it's all that about politicians. I think, yes, in a certain sense, I do agree to the fact that we have to vote and put people in place to make decisions that benefit us. Mm-hmm. But on a larger scale, I still feel like it's a mental issue. It's a mental issue for them, not for us. Because the point of it is this: in the last couple of years, which let's be honest, I feel like the last couple of years of Obama's administration was a clear message from the police to black people. We've never seen that many black men, and I'm not gonna say that because I say with the rise of cell phones and being able to take video,
I don't think anything changed majorly since then. It's more recorded.
Visible, yeah.
But
what I'm saying is that even with that being said, even with more videotape, you don't see black cops doing the things that white cops do. You just don't see it. You don't see
because
black.
They wouldn't allow it to happen. They first and foremost.
But bro, once the black cop pulls his gun and shoots somebody, the deal is done. The deal is done. Now, only instances I can think of is the one dude I think in Ohio that got off, which I was surprised at, the one black cop. And in Freddie Gray's case, there was black cops involved in his death.
I see. You know what I think? I think that the police have a little bit tighter fraternity than that. So even when a black cop shoot just a citizen, whether it be black or white, he could probably get away with it.
But I think we're more temperamental. We're not as temperamental as them, though. We don't think kill first. That's not in our nature. What's crazy is this. I think in the streets, because of the pattern that's going on with, the whole psyche from slavery on to now, about even in slavery, the one point of it was to turn the field slave against the house slave.
Yeah.
Then you had them raping us. Now you have slaves that are bright skinned.
It's unity.
It's just
discombobulate
everything and separate us. So I think that's where I think that's where us becoming our enemy started within slavery. Because now, oh, I got to be out here in this hot ass sun picking this damn cotton.
It goes back to, so if you gotta have unity, you gotta put your race first. That's the only way. So it still goes back to doing that. No race of people in their right mind is gonna give another race of people that they enslaved and degraded and treated bad all these years. They're gonna just wake up one day and just give them all the tools to come from up under it. They're gonna try and hold them down. That's a smart thing to do. What's to stop them from annihilating you once they come on top? So we have to not.
But I don't think that's in our character, bro.
It's not in our character. That's why we've been in this situation for such a long time.
Because think about it like this: we can take it on a macro level. We can take it on a micro level. Mm-hmm. Just for the simple fact of this: having babies. Let a affluent white girl get pregnant from a black dude. Her family will cut her off. Mm-hmm. Now, you know our mamas. They tell us, you know, who they want us to be with, who they think we should be with, or it should be in every black man that want a black woman. But that's a whole different subject. But if I was to go out and get another race pregnant, they may be upset, they may be hurt. But as soon as my child comes, parents are going to embrace that. You can think about it. Even people that have kids out of wedlock with black parents. Your parents may be mad because however you're raised or whatever, if you're raised not to have kids before marriage, they may be mad, but as soon as the child comes and they see their grandchild, every parent that I've ever seen embraces that child wholeheartedly. Now that's the difference. I haven't seen a lot of situations. I haven't seen a lot. I've literally seen more white families that I know that have had like one of their relatives get pregnant from a black person, it'd be more strife. I've seen more of my homeboys that are black that have dealt with white women that got them pregnant, still, even after the kid, still have to feel a certain level of racism from the families, the other family.
Yeah.
And I just say, like I said, with that, we say if we ever got power or we ever really are put in a place where we're supposed to be, I don't feel like we would ever take that type of stance because we're more of an inclusive people. But what I'm saying is, even though we've been inclusive as of right now because of the status quo,
it would be fair though. It would absolutely be fair. From the standpoint of they would have to see how it feels, so they wouldn't ever want to try and do that to somebody else again in life. I think that even for people that want that to happen, it would be fair. I don't want to do it either because I want to be able to build it on my own and just do everything on my own. But I don't want to have to use them to get to where I need to be.
I forgot that one lady's name that T.I. used the skit when she said it. When she asked them, remember, it's the lady that does the group sessions and she does the group studies, and she asked how many white people in this audience want to be treated the same way that black people are treated and feel like it's okay. Yeah. And nobody raised their hand. She was like, so how do you think they feel about that? If you don't want to be treated like them, why do y'all keep letting it happen to them?
Yeah.
So
that's why I said a ways back, that's why even the not so racist white people are still kind of detrimental to us because they're not really doing anything to fix the situation. Yeah, but we have to. Me personally, I feel like we have to try and come up with some kind of a system where we become indifferent to them too, not in a nasty way, but just indifferent to like their things. Because the thing about it is, we definitely look for their approval because look at the things that we buy. We buy their things. We don't buy our own things. So we always looking for their approval.
But I think that comes from, bro, you have to have some economic backing. We don't even have that. We're still, this is what I say about when they say wars and
but that comes from taste though. Taste that they instilled in us.
No, you know why I don't believe that, bro? Because I think like this. We set the trend, like I said last week. We set the trend. Mm-hmm. They just profit off our. So the thing, this is what I'm saying. Now, not Louis Vuitton, like Louis Vuitton and all this other bullshit, excuse my bullshit that we buy is stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's been shown over the years.
But that means we can make anything trendy though.
That's true too. But what I'm saying, we set the trends, so we set trends, but they profit off it. Like I said a while back, think about this. Those little two-wheel hoverboards that everybody was on a couple Christmases ago. Mm-hmm. Now, the whole world, the whole black community, oh, my kids, I gotta get my kids hoverboards. We made that a trend, because think about it, all them celebrities was on it, it was on TV shows, we made it hot. Because until black people started, wasn't nobody on that, we made that hot. Now think about it. That trend has come and gone. We made it hot.
I know, but that's still
but how many black people financially benefited off of that? We just fed into the system.
So some may have bought some wholesale and sold them and made a profit.
But we didn't make as much as the people.
We just didn't even make the invention that they was riding on. They didn't make the hoverboard. Black people smart enough that the intelligence is free for everybody. The same book they read to learn how to make the stuff that they made, so we could read the same books. So it's still taste. They made something and they made us have a taste for it. And then we bought it uncontrollably, even though we couldn't afford it.
True.
So it still boils down to taste, and it's taste that they instilled in us. Yeah, this is the newest thing. So now they made it, they just made it look trendy. Then they went to Wiz Khalifa and Chris Brown and was like, yeah, we're gonna give you the best one of these for free. Just write it around in your videos, and then black people are gonna buy it like crazy.
It's the same thing. Now, honestly, if you look at it, it's the same thing as what they do with drugs. That's one thing why I tell all the young people the same thing. They're gonna feed it to us to see what takes. Now, mind you, the drugs is all good as long as they can make money off of them. The drugs become a problem, it becomes a federal issue, and it becomes a issue now when we start making money off of it. Think about it. White dudes been taking pills and opiates and all this other stuff. Now think about it, especially down here in Florida.
Yeah.
When the black people started figuring out how to, go to the little, I ain't finna get into it, but when we figured out how to make money off of it.
Yeah.
When we figured out how to make, now what's all over the news? What's Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump? Oh, now we have to get on opiates. You know why? Because it's not black people that's dying in the streets off of opiates. Yeah. It's the white boys.
Originally, they was making money off of it from black people because we couldn't really afford to go to the hospitals and stuff. So they could just pump a bunch of pills into the community and then just have doctors give them out, and black people would use them. Some people would use them the right way. Like I remember things like my grandma and my aunts trading, giving each other pills that they got from those things, but they didn't just take them just to take them. They took them when they had pains and aches, and they can't afford to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
So, but then the people start figuring out, you get a certain kind of high once you start taking them, and they start selling. And I don't think black people really enjoy those kind of highs, even though they rap about it in the rap songs. I don't want to be so high that I'm like a zombie. I'm out of my mind type high. So that's more so of a white person high. So now it's becoming a problem. Yeah, it's a heroin substitute. That's crazy.
And that's why we get into that, but that's why they don't realize, they don't see the boom in heroin. But at the same time, I'm going to get into that because it's probably somebody making a little bit of coins. Like, I ain't gonna stop the coins right now. I mean, I'm real about it. Like
somebody knock on the door and then the show get canceled. This be the last episode.
Yeah, nah, bro, we can't do that, bro. Nah. But at the same time, like I said, it's crazy, dog. It's a lot we deal with, but it's just that we have to stop being so forgiving of past transgressions, and we have to go for what's ours. A lot of the stuff we gotta start demanding, bro.
We definitely do, and that takes me back to what you was talking about earlier. That point that I wanted to make when you was talking about like welfare and them, using that as a thing against us. I don't think people realize that when you pay taxes, that's where that money is supposed to go. Your tax money is supposed to go towards looking out for the people in the
less amongst us.
Yeah, the people that can't really take care of themselves. It's supposed to go toward protecting the people and taking care of the people. So if you have a situation where jobs are scarce, then you would expect that they would have to pay welfare out to
Somebody's gonna need help at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I see news articles all the time and news bulletins where they're talking about people dropping out of college and moving home because it's so hard for them to find jobs. So if it's that hard to find jobs, why wouldn't you believe that it's even harder to find jobs in the black community where they don't build all of these big stores? You don't find all of these stores in the black community. They put them right on the outskirts. I have to drive somewhere. When I lived in Riviera Beach, I had to drive somewhere to go to the supermarket. I had to drive somewhere if I wanted to go to a clothing store. Or it might be one, locally owned store that, maybe some Arabs own.
Exactly. That's the point. And I never understood that. It's almost like, bro, it's almost, if you think about it, it's almost like a classification of what people can and can't do in different communities. It really is. It's a system because think about it. I don't care what neighborhood you go to in America. Mm-hmm. If it's a corner store in a black community, it's gonna be somebody that's an Arab. I don't know.
But you know what it is though? I think that it's that we don't aspire to own those things. We aspire to own different things. We aspire to own like record labels and production companies. But we don't aspire to own
because they don't see
stores.
This is the thing they don't realize. See, in the hood, you see the dope boy, what he doing. You see what he doing, and you see his car.
Yeah.
You see he may move out, like how we say down here, he made a move out west.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is this: they see these Arabs in the community with their stores. They don't, but we never see the way they live. You don't realize this bitch got a 9-bedroom house out there. He drives in every day in his little beater that he drives to his little store and opens up. But you don't realize all his kids went to Duke and Harvard and all his kids is coming home doctors. That while our kids going in there buying hot Cheetos and hot sausages and pickled eggs. Their kids go to school while
paying them, we put them through school.
Putting their kids through school, and they never really. I'm not gonna say every community, but they never really invest back into the community that they make money.
Not every community, bro. And that's still just that it still boils down to us because they wouldn't be able to make it in our neighborhoods if we didn't patronize their stores. If we said, I'm not gonna shop. If I'm gonna go to a local store, it gotta be a black person that own that local store, or else I'm gonna just drive to wherever I need to go to.
But it's true. We always try to find a jug, and that's crazy. Because you think about it. I don't know if you've seen the little post on Instagram and going around like it was like a hot dog stand. Like it said a man, a Chinese man comes to a black hot dog stand. Okay, give me 2 hot dogs. White man comes, give me for the same price, and the black man come for the same price everybody else paid. Damn, bruh, why you charging me so much? Why are we afraid to spend money with each other?
Yeah.
Why are we afraid to see? And it comes into that. At some point, to a certain level, we can be our own worst enemies in the black community, and it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be where the point where even we do music. Yeah. We don't went to people. I mean, if we homeboys, I watch your back, you watch my back. Okay, you know how we rock. We've got beats from people that charge good money. Yeah. But at the same time, it was a lookout situation. Yeah. But if I didn't know a producer, and he said, "Man, I want 500, 600."
But I can't. I don't think that you can use that though, because I definitely know. I know for a fact that white people look out for each other the same way. So we do have to be comfortable when we can afford it. Now, if you just can't afford to look out for them, if I can't afford to look out for you, then I just can't do it, bro. I got bills to pay. I got the same living expenses that you have. But if I can afford to do it, I should do it. White people do it all the time.
But even that was, I'm saying, even when you talk about friends and relationships in our community, as some people, dog, I'm telling you real talk right now. Mm-hmm. I remember one time I was going through it with my son or something I was going through, and I reached out to 2 of my homeboys. I just wanted to ask a question. Supposed to be my homeboys. They lawyers. Neither one of them responded back to me. And that's the type of stuff I talk about. Because I'm saying, me as a black man, mm-hmm. I wouldn't do anything like that to somebody I consider a friend. Yeah. But that's the thing in our community where, and it wasn't, and see, that's the thing, we always assume that somebody wants something for free. If I'm asking you as a lawyer, it's because that's your expertise. That's what you do. You may know the law a little bit, so I'm coming the sharing the knowledge, the wealth and knowledge and everything like that. That's how we used to be in Africa. That's where we shared knowledge with each other and made the whole world better. But now you can't even go to somebody you consider a friend and say, bro, because he gonna want something for free, or he gonna want, no, I don't want anything for free. I'm asking you a question where,
because they forced us we forced to live in a society where people sell information.
That's true.
If he's a person that lawyers don't sell a physical product, they only sell information. So
that makes a lot of sense.
He's forced to be in a situation where it's like, okay, well, if I get 30 calls like this a day and I answer all 30 of them just because I knew the people, then I just don't make no money. I can't support my practice. I can't run my business. So when you can't afford to pay, you should pay for things like that. And sometimes you just got to learn this stuff on your own. I mean, I've read law books, and there's nothing in the books that's too complicated to understand. I think that sometimes we used to looking for shortcuts.
True.
We know that,
True.
Okay, this person does this for a living, so it's just kind of easier for me to just ask them instead of, maybe picking up a book and just kind of reading a couple of books.
But even still, even at any journey of knowledge, you still have to have a starting point. So even if I just
sometimes you got to be forced into that start.
When you used to work at at your other job, and I used to come and say, what's up with this product? I'm not asking you to give me the whole spec, but you know more, so you can point me, well, bro, it does this. But if you want to find out, you didn't give me all the game, but you let me know what I need to know. It's simple start. I'm saying I should be able.
Yeah, but that's still a difference though, because I was working in a place where I sold a physical product or labor. So the information that I knew, that was just information that I gained just from being around the products and having people tell me about the products. I didn't have to sell that information to make my living though. Like I fixed phones. So if I repaired the screen on your phone, that was the physical thing that I sold. So if you came in every day of the week and was like, yeah, bro, can you fix my phone screen? Then it's like, yeah, okay, now, bro, you cut into my profits. I can't do that for you all the time. You got to pay for some of it.
I get that, but what I'm saying, at some point, it has to be the.
No, I definitely think people.
I'm not saying go out here and come represent me. I'm saying if I ask you a question and I'm trying to gain knowledge from not knowledge.
Yeah, if you can afford to do it, like if I'm in a place where I'm good, I'm comfortable in my life. And it don't hurt me to just answer a question. It would hurt you to
ask a question for me. Listen, I'm not in your same state. I'm not even in your same city. What would hurt if I ask you, bro, if I'm going forward, what type of lawyer do I need to get for this child support?
Sell information though. That's like me saying, okay, I sell my product. I have the shield from you, shield me. I have that product. That's like me saying, okay, I'm going to just give them to the people that's around me. I'm selling it online, but I'm just going to give it to the people around me. The people around me should support me as much as the people online. They should support my business.
Yeah.
So you have to, if the person can afford it, if I'm a successful attorney, I got my own practice, I'm just somewhere, and I can just randomly give out information like that.
I'm going to tell you, let me kill that whole point. Mm-hmm. Because if you think about a law office, what's the first thing a lawyer has to do when he takes on a new client? The initial consultation. I have to sit down with you, which you're not getting paid for, mind you. I have to sit down with you.
Some lawyers get paid for it.
For the initial consultation?
Yeah. Some lawyers charge for their time, period. Because they're going to give you information.
So if you go to a lawyer right now and you say, let's say a child support issue, and you say, I'm in need of a child support lawyer, and then the receptionist, whoever's on the line, is going to be like, okay, well, he has his time available. Are they going to tell me right then and there, but if you're coming in for this consultation, you need to bring $100.
If it was bad news that was signed to Maybach Music, and you had a $10 million contract with them, and you said, listen, I want to make sure I handle my child support fair and square, so I'm going to reach out to whatever the best lawyer firm is in America that handle child support, to have them take care of it. When they sit you down and to do that initial consultation, they're going to be like, yeah, we need such and such an hour to sit down with you to see if we want to take on this case. And there's times that you can pay for that initial consultation. If you can afford to give away the information, bro, you should definitely do it. Okay. All information from me is free. anything that I know, even if it's in my field, even if I feel like the person is going to be competition, even if the person is using the information the way that I gave it to them, because I'm constantly learning new things. That's one thing that they learn from me. So if I hear the person using that one thing and they get something from it, okay, they was able to find a way to use it better than I could. They don't know everything that I know. I'm still learning things. So, I mean, some people look at it differently, but I can see that if I was in a situation where I had to use that I sold information, I sold the fact that I can get you out of trouble, I can fix these problems for you, and then I just started fixing the problems for people for free, it would kind of negate the fact that I'm doing it for my living as a job. So, I mean, I definitely feel like if I knew the answer, I would definitely give it to you. Even if I was a lawyer and I was, bro, because you're my brother, bro, I would definitely supposed to give that kind of information to you. But somebody that you went to school with that don't do it can't feel a certain kind of way about it.
Oh, I definitely feel a certain kind of way. I definitely, yeah, no, can't too. I definitely feel a certain kind of way. But we're gonna leave that there. I want to bring up one more topic that before we end it on this episode. There's something that I saw. We talked about in a previous episode about the media, and I was like, oh, it's good and bad to the media. But something really opened my eyes today. And I'm gonna say names. I'm gonna say shows. I was up watching MSNBC this morning, watching Morning Joe, and I kind of like the interaction on the show, and just that's why I'm not gonna go to Fox or anything, but point blank period. They were talking about Obamacare, and one guy named Donnie Deutsch was on there this morning. He was talking about the problem with Obamacare, and he was trying to point out. I know where he was going. It was a dog whistle. He was saying that the problem with Obamacare to the other side is that it's Obamacare. It's his name included, the branding that's in his name, with his name in it. Mm-hmm. And my biggest problem with the media was that they were saying maybe if Democrats would concede that they need to take, because we all know that Donald Trump is trying to erase any symbolism of Obama that he was ever here. Let it be told, it would have been 43, number 43, and then 45. Yeah, Obama's just not going to exist. Yeah. Whatever he did, so he's trying to erase that man's whole legacy. But the problem is telling Democrats that they should concede the name that it was improper branding of Obama. First of all, Obama never called the Affordable Care Act Obamacare. Let's make that clear. That was something that came from Republicans. Yeah. Number two, why should he have to take his name on it if that's part of his legacy? Because y'all want to get rid of it just because nobody's. It's things that can be changed probably in Obamacare that can be changed for better, but nobody is gonna. More people are gonna be hurt from them trying to repeal. But why in the world would you send this whistle out that it's the wrong branding? No, we didn't brand this. This is this man's legacy. It was Affordable Care Act. Republicans started calling it Obamacare. Yeah. Now we need to go back and further. But what made me upset was y'all want to further erase his name from his legacy, so we should rebrand it to just the Affordable Care Act. No, bro. That man.
Yeah. Either way it go, he loses.
He loses.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, well, if they change it, you lose because it's gone. But if they keep it, they just change the name on it and make sure that your name isn't attached to it.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And
I mean, but like I said, bro, I don't expect anything different from them. I can't. It's nothing in my mind that would tell me that their response or reaction would be different to any kind of situation like that.
I just thought, being that they're more liberal leaning, but it's just like what we said. Whether Democrats and Republicans, they still all work for the same people. It's all a pyramid scheme. Yeah. So the division is just for us. The division has nothing to do with the actual parties. The division is for us to pit us against each other, realizing that Democrats and Republicans' money all come from the same place. Yeah. Point blank, period. But
I think that's it, bro.